we do not have religious crisis in Nigeria. Mr. Speaker, like the leader canvassed that it is a deliberate attempt to damage Nigeria's image, to cause problems in this country.
They do not believe that this country has matured and grown beyond this issue of ethnic contestations and disagreements and dislodgements over issues. I can't even remember when last communities started fighting because of the Bible or the Quran or because they want to worship Ogun or Shapona. No.
In the Congress in the US, a subcommittee of the Foreign Affairs had been on this matter, and they conducted a public hearing. I need to give this information. They had a public hearing. Mr. Speaker, they denied Nigerian mission and Nigerians' audience and participation. Mr. Speaker, I've had calls to engage the mission in Nigeria here and to tell them that the issue at hand is not religious. I cited the case of Mr. President being a Muslim married to a Christian. I cited a case of an Islamic scholar in Katsina who was honored, and on his way home he was murdered by bandits. Mr. Speaker, I cited several issues to show that we do not have religious crisis in Nigeria. Mr. Speaker, like the leader canvassed that it is a deliberate attempt to damage Nigeria's image, to cause problems in this country. And because the motion presented by Mr. Deputy Speaker is investigative in nature, Mr. Speaker, I wouldn't want to dance into the arena as much. I support and I concur that this investigation should be thoroughly carried out. And our leaders in the Senate too should also do the same, so that we're on the same page to really convey the true position of things. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Wali. I appreciate the import of this move in the U.S. Senate. It has been read twice on the floor of the Senate and referred to a committee as we speak. And if we do not take urgent steps to nip it in the bud and it passes the Senate, to reverse it will take us a longer time and cost us even more resources. Mr. Speaker, the main problem here comes from one, those who deliberately demarcate Nigeria outside the country, including Nigerians, for a variety of reasons. Two, gross misinformation deeply embedded in the nature of the American educational system. In other words, for many of the children, many of the parents, even some legislators, still look at Nigeria with the eyes of the 1950s and 60s. They do not believe that this country has matured and grown beyond this issue of ethnic contestations and disagreements and dislodgements over issues. Over the years, we have gone beyond this. I can't even remember when last communities started fighting because of the Bible or the Quran or because they want to worship Ogun or Shapona. No. Nigerians are concerned with existential issues. And I think the bill, or the motion, as ably presented by the Deputy Speaker, requires us to use all the networks we have and to encourage all the relevant committees of the House and also get the Senate, to get involved in this, to engage those who are handling this matter on behalf of the U.S. government. When Ted Cruz raised this issue, many people thought it was just a statement. It is not. There is an agenda designed to rubbish some of the progress we have made so far in rolling back those elements, those contradictions, those contestations that have continued to undermine our democracy and encourage the institutions and agencies that have promoted corruption and misunderstanding in our society. Mr. Speaker, I support, as a co-mover of this motion, I support the way it has been presented, and I urge my colleagues not to think that this is just an ordinary statement. It is being pursued methodically in the U.S. Senate, and we must engage it before a conclusion is reached. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Chair, Committee Foreign Affairs.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
This matter through the parliamentary process of the U.S. system. I don't know whether this country is having a lobby or lobbyist on the Capitol. It is traditional. Countries like Nigeria is a country of interest to the U.S. Mr. Speaker, I was in the diplomatic service of this country, and I serve on the Capitol. I report the happenings on the Capitol. I know how the U.S. government system has a tremendous interest of this country because of the strategic position of Nigeria in the world, not in Africa. Mr. Speaker, this issue, the country of particular concern is a U.S. government policy on countries that are very strategic and very sensitive in world politics and world energy security. Today, the action of Nigeria can turn the history and the dynamics of energy in the world. So Nigeria is a country of particular interest. It is not something that is new. It is there within the security cycle, and it is there within the diplomatic politics. But how do we address this issue? Is the way we address the issue of when the U.S. National Security Council issue a report that Nigeria will be a failed state in 2015. God so kind, I was the secretary of that committee in the Senate. We went to the U.S. system, anywhere in the U.S. system, in order to address that, until we extracted commitment from the U.S. that this report is not the U.S. government position. We went to the U.S. Congress, the Senate, the National Security Council, wherever. So it is the Parliament that should re-engineer its vigorous, aggressive parliamentary diplomacy and address this system. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Sada. Honorable Billy, I think we take just your own comments and then we put the question.
Thank you, our constituency of Edo State. A very proud Benin chief. Mr. Speaker, this is a very, very sensitive and serious issue we have at our hands right now. Mr. Speaker, Nigeria cannot afford to avoid global politics. Just like my honorable senior colleague alluded, Honorable Sada Soli, that what we are seeing here is global politics, and we cannot shy away from it. It is not enough to say we are being targeted as a country, but we must put in place the necessary machinery to fight a cause like this. Mr. Speaker, as we speak, I don't think Nigeria has an ambassador to the United States. As we speak, I don't believe Nigeria has a permanent representative to the United Nations and so many other countries. considering the role Nigeria plays in the African continent, Mr. Speaker, I think at this point, even if we succeed in doing this investigation and getting these reports, the America that I know, they have their own procedures. If we don't have the proper channel that they recognize, I'm sorry, that investigation and report might amount to nothing. At this point, Mr. Speaker, I think it should be one of those channels to reach out to Mr. President to see a need, why we need an ambassador to the United States, why we need a permanent representative to the United Nations, because at some point, these are the people they want to discuss with when it comes to Nigerian issues. You and I might not be able to go there unless we go through the parliamentary avenue, which is also a channel. But again, this calls for a holistic solution. While the executive is finding a way to resolve these issues through that diplomatic means, the legislature should also be looking for a way. Why do we have the Nigeria-US Parliamentary Friendship Group? Why do we have the Committee on Foreign Affairs? This is the time, Mr. Speaker. This is the time to wake up. Let's begin to interface with our colleagues in the US Congress, in the US Senate. Why do we have the IPU? Because things like this will come up. We are not only saying this for Nigeria. At some point, we are fighting this fight for Africa. Because if we let this go through, Nigeria will just be the first in so many other countries in Africa. This is why Nigeria cannot afford to fail, not only Nigeria now, not to fail Africa. So, Mr. Speaker, my honorable colleagues, this is an issue we must take very seriously. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, for granting me the floor.
Right Honorable Benjamin Okezi Kalu for bringing up this matter of urgent public importance to protect the Nigerian integrity, the name of Nigeria, as well as our status in the community of the world. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, is on record that by population projection, Nigeria's population by 2050 is going to be 440 million people, and that is going to place Nigeria third most populous country in the world. So such cannot, at whatever level of influence, be taken for granted. Trying to designate Nigeria as one of the CPCs by imposing sanctions on Nigeria, I don't think is something that this parliament can sit down and watch it flowing like a water under the river without asking questions. On this note, I would like to amend prayer 3 and delete prayer 4 because content of prayer 4 preempts the outcome of prayer 3's assignment whenever the report is submitted. With your kind permission, Mr. Speaker, I would like prayer 3 to be read and sound as follows. Mandates the Committee on Foreign Affairs, National Security and Intelligence, Police Affairs, Interior, Civil Societies, Human Rights and National Orientation and Values to within 21 days coordinate with A, the Federal Ministry of Foreign Affairs and the Nigerian Embassy in Washington, which by extension is going to address concern raised by Honorable Billy Famous Osawaro, to lodge a formal diplomatic demarche to transmitting empirical data and Nigeria's official position. B, the U.S. mission in Nigeria and interested U.S. legislators to propose a Nigerian-U.S. joint findings and dialogue mechanisms to freedom of religion or belief with participation from both faith leaders and independent experts, and to invite USCIRF to a hearing briefing of this House to examine sources, methodologies, and remedies. This equally addresses Billy Famous Asawaro's position. So for me, a prayer 4 that reads as follows should be deleted completely to avoid preempting the outcome of the above investigation. Call on the National Human Rights Commission, police, DSS, and relevant state authorities to submit to the House within 30 days a consolidated report on investigation and precautions rotating to religiously framed violence since 2023, identifying bottlenecks and resources. All this information can be investigated by the committees above that are assigned by the resolution of the House to bring up a report. But if you ask these agencies in 30 days, which is 7 days after the committee's assignment, to bring up a report, is going to be a duplication or preemptive of the committee's this. So this is the reason why I raised this amendment. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Any seconder to this amendment? Seconder. Right Honorable Mohammed.
Thank you, Mr.
I'm from Ogun State. Today is one of the days that calls for a sober reflection. How emotional torture could be used to suppress a growing country like ours in Nigeria. Irrespective of that, with this CPC and all the submissions made by my honorable colleagues, the amendment I'm seeking is because Honorable Billy alluded to it, but didn't raise it as an amendment to this motion we have on the floor. That is about the United Nations. In Yoruba land, they say, we get to copy the United Nations and let them be formally aware about the position. Therefore, since the House has carried that prayer 4 be deleted, I want to add it as prayer 4 to that of 3. I so move, Mr. Speaker, as our distinguished honorable colleagues. Thank you.
Please, can you come again? You said you want to amend or bring prayer 4 to what? Please, can you say it again so that we take note of exactly what you are saying?
Yeah, prayer 4, that is official communication of this motion to the United Nations formally, so that they are aware of what the U.S. Congress is trying to do to Nigeria.
Okay, so substitution of prayer 4?
Yes, sir.
Delete the prayer 4 as it is and substitute with what you are now.
Exactly, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Okay. Any seconder to this amendment or additional prayer? Any seconder to it? Honorable Tijani Kayode.
Your Excellency, Mr.